G'day punters, I'm Kenny. Welcome to a new episode. Well, this episode's going to be a talk fest, not too long I hope. I'm going to talk about a couple of things, all this stuff that's lying down beside me. That's one of the topics that goes into 2024 sort of stuff. I'm going to talk about historical content and content for the future as well. And what else am I going to talk about? The third thing I want to talk to you about is what's all this stuff about down here to the left. Some updates on the Land Cruiser. 2, maybe 3 projects I've got planned for 2024. The third project, I'm still waiting for a response from the supplier about that. It's a bit iffy. Don't know whether I'll go ahead with it or not. But anyhow, let's get into a talk about these parts to start off with. Now, I'm sure I've told you, but if I haven't, I do have a Facebook page, kennymepicadventures. Get across there and have a look, eh? Have a quick look now, but don't forget to come back. Watch the rest of this episode. These are wiring looms. Left front, right front for the ABS sensor. I've recently replaced the ABS sensors on the front. There's a fault code keep on coming up. Right front sensor faulty. And even after clearing it, it kept on coming up, so I replaced them. Bought myself some radiator hoses, top and bottom, overflow tank hoses, a new radiator, still on the box. It's a PWR one. Important information when fitting the radiator. So that's a high flow, high capacity custom tank that's going in the front of the Land Cruiser. It's got a particular mod to it for an intended use that's going to come up in one of those jobs in late January. I've mentioned that already. That's a new transfer case. Part of the works in January. There is a noise in the transfer case and it only pops its head up when it's under, the Land Cruiser's under a bit of load, so I think it's a bearing just about to go on that. Injectors, genuine Denso injectors, some genuine Toyota premix coolant, about 5 litres. The 79 takes just under 5 litres of coolant when the system's completely empty. I've got some new injector lines, again from cheaper diesel parts coming. They're meant to be delivered today. Some injector lines for all 8 injectors, and also the 2 injector lines, or high pressure lines from the injector pump to the left and to the right fuel rails. The last bit of video was taken on the GoPro, so this next bit is after that, of course. And since then I've had a delivery, 1 VD pipe set. That's for the injector pipes from fuel rail to each of the 8 injectors. And 2 fuel high pressure lines. They go from the fuel injector pump to the fuel rails. I got these from cheaper diesel spares. They're down near Southport, South Queensland, okay? Best prices I could find for the injectors and for the fuel lines, so thumbs up to them, eh? Welcome to the editing video. I just thought I'd slip this in here and explain before we get into it why I've gone the way I have. You're about to see what I'm talking about. I had a compression test done on the engine not so long ago. I'm going to put a picture up here so that you can have a look at it while I'm having a chin wag. The stats in that will show that the current compression outcomes for all 8 cylinders sits roughly between between the high value and the low value. 1 cylinder is 5 psi down. Now that's a pretty good outcome for something that's done about 305,000 Ks, pushing 9 years old. I wasn't expecting it to be that good, and if it wasn't that good, it was going to be a long motor. But because it is that good, have a listen and see what follows. Let's talk about the work I'm going to get done on the Land Cruiser in 2024. First lot of work I've booked in for the 8th of January. A local supplier, Kenday Automotive. They're a blue label authorised agent, so that they can certify modifications to the Land Cruiser. In fact, they did one of the ones on the Land Cruiser, the Mark's 4-wheel drive adapters, hydraulic brake booster. They did that for me. Now they got it for, I reckon, probably 7 maybe 10 days. They're going to supply a high flow turbo. They're also going to supply a new left-hand engine mount. It's an engineered one, and a new air intake that's from the airbox through to the turbo. On a previous video I did a few years back, I talked about the oddity of having a larger intake pipe. Common about those days were like 4-inch, only to have that squashed down in between the left-hand engine mount and the engine block before going into the turbo. Most turbos on the 1VD 79s, 76s, 78s have about a 38mm intake anyhow. The engineered left-hand engine mount actually creates a lot more space between the engine mount and the engine block. So now's the time to get a little bit more intake efficiency, increasing the air intake pipe, again from the airbox to the turbo. Still going to go into a turbo inlet of about 38mm, but the turbine blade's a little bit bigger in the high flow turbo. Part of that process I had hoped to have done a detune. Yeah, you heard me right, a detune. The last time I had the Land Cruiser tuned by a mob down in southeast Queensland, Nambour, or around there anyhow. They shall remain nameless. The results were 930 Newton meters. Now I'm pretty sure that was at the flywheel. I'm not sure that that was at the wheels. Anyhow, for the second lot of work I'm doing, I need to have an outcome where the power at the flywheel is somewhere between 850 and 900 Newton meters. Yeah, detune. I had thought as part of this project I'd put in plus 30 injectors, but because I've got a detune, I think it's a waste of money. And additionally, the standard injectors can handle the power that it's putting out at presently. In fact, you could probably tune them up to about 1,000, a little bit over 1,000 Newton meters if you wanted to really push the limits. But because I'm detuning them, they're actually going to be a little bit less effort placed on the injectors with the detune. So that's why I've got the standard injectors. The second lot of work I'm getting done, I've got booked in for 22nd of January. They'll have the cruiser for about 2 weeks, they've told me, hopefully a little bit less. It's a job I'd probably do myself if I wanted to, if you haven't noticed. New left knee, so I've hobbled a bit at the moment. Crawling around under a Land Cruiser, even like late January, is probably not going to be the ideal thing for me. And more importantly, the work that is going to be done carries warranty with it, and I wanted the warranty work. I wanted the warranty that attaches to that work. Can't give myself warranty. If I do a bad job, I do a bad job. What can I tell you about the second tranche of work? The transfer case is going to be fitted up at the same time. That may give some of you a hint. Let's talk about content. I've still got some leftover content from my summer tour, which started December last year, so it's about 12 months ago. Finished later March, April, so there's a couple of episodes that come with that. Got a bit of content from a trip the boss and I did up north of Mossman. There'll probably only be one episode. That's in the works as well. We slipped across to New Zealand for a week, so there's a little bit from that. Bit of a recreational visit, I think, more than anything else. I've got one more cooking episode to do, well, edit, put up. It's about sourdough. Some of you might enjoy that, some of you may not. What's happening in 2024? Well, as you know, I've just had a knee operation, so it's going to hobble me for a little bit. I've got a couple of little social things happening between now and the end of March, so there's not really too much that's going to come out of that other than probably completing some content on what's happening with the Land Cruiser in like January and February. Early April, head off for 2 months, and have a bit of content from that, something completely different from what I've put up on the channel previously. Come along and enjoy that trip with us. It's something different. Later in 2024, we're doing some preliminary planning at the moment. for a trip down to the Upper Isle, Tasmania, and into the sort of central Victoria. I don't think we'll get onto the coast too much. May get back up into the Highlands again. I've got a video on the Vic High Country already on the YouTube channel if you want to go and have a look. That's dragging the old Matrix caravan around in there. But we'll go in there and have a better look this time. 2025. Here's a hint. Yeah, that's planning for that. It's well progressed at the moment. We're going to be heading off, I reckon, mid-February 2025. At the moment, our preliminary planning is going to have us back 12 to 13 months later. So it's going to be a long trip. Looking forward to that. That's something different that we haven't done previously on this channel. Let's finish off there, eh? It's coming up to Christmas, so, you know, have a happy Christmas, you and your family, from my family. Have a safe New Year as well. I'll get some content out to you apart from this video in the next few weeks. You might be a bit thirsty for it because I haven't had too much new stuff up. Apologies. Thanks, punters. Cheers. Well, I hope some of you watched this. This is the 4th take. 2 days. Got a new roadie mic. Well, new. I've had it for a few years, and I've been having problems trying to get it to work on the camera. Now, done now. Into it. Number 4.